Welcome back to Bountiful Backyard Gardens. Here I've got all of our strawberries out of the greenhouse just to give them a little bit of sunlight since it's such a pretty day today. And we're going to take a look and see how great they're looking. Look how beautiful.
Wow.
Now these are called the White Carolina Pineberry. They actually produce a white strawberry, these four in the small pots right here. And then all of these in the bigger pots are Seascape strawberries, which is a red strawberry. So that's all of our strawberries. Over here, we've got some new additions. We've got right here in the front, this is a raspberry. And then this is a kiwi. And in the back, we have a currant. It is the King Edward VII currant. So we're really excited about having all of these fruits. And then up top, we've got some cauliflower sprouting. All of this is cauliflower. And then this is lettuce that is doing okay. It's got some germination issues. A few sprouted, but not very many. But we'll take what we can get and we'll still plant the ones that sprout it. And then right next to it, we have some pawpaw trees. Pawpaws are actually native to where we live in Zone 8B. And they're a great fruit tree that grows out in the wild. You can find them in forest. So we've got 3 of those that we have starting out here on the deck, and we're going to plant them in the yard here soon. Okay, now we are down here in the main garden area. This is where we have our radishes, garlic, and I think that's kale over here. That's what it looks like to me. It could be broccoli though. I still got to thin that one out. I've thinned out some further down the row, but I didn't get to the ones up here. But everything's looking really good. This garlic is looking beautiful. And these radishes are actually, I think a few of them are ready to harvest. So we're going to check and see. That is a pretty good size radish. And these are the Cherry Bell variety. I actually got the seeds on Amazon, so I think some of them look a little bit different than what I was expecting. I was expecting more of a reddish pink color rather than this deep color that we have right here. But it'll still be tasty, so I'm happy with that. Let's move further down and see if this radish is, I don't know if you can see that, it's a little bit smaller, so I'm going to leave that one in a little bit longer, but this one is popping out. So let's see about this one. So that one I think is actually ready, and this is more the color that I was looking for with the Cherry Bell variety. You see the difference? But 2 good sized radishes right there already. Alright, this one doesn't have very many leaves to it if you look at it, but if you look down to the soil, that radish looks like it is a good size. Oh, it is. Oh, it's split. I got to it a little bit too late. Well, you know, I think I'm still going to try and eat it, even though it's split. But this is also the color, more the color that I was expecting. This reddish pink color. Okay. Now this one is kind of teeny tiny, so we will leave that one in there to go a little bit longer and develop. But this one, look at the top. Look at how it has a lot more leaves to it. The leaves are larger than this one. So I definitely think this one might be ready. Let's look down in the soil. And it is popping out of the soil, the top of it. So there's a good chance that it's ready to be harvested. Whoa, that's a nice long one. Beautiful. Beautiful cherry bell radish. Okay, now let's check this one. This one has smaller leaves on it, so I'm thinking it's not going to be ready. Let's look down at the soil. Oh my goodness, actually, it fooled me. Look how big that is. Okay, let's hope it's not split. It's not split. How wonderful. Look how big and nice that radish is. Wow, so beautiful. All right, let's go to the next one. I'm going to have to start checking them really good because I thought that I'd be able to tell just by the amount of leaves that it had, but definitely not. Because look, that one has about the same amount of leaves as this one next to it. And it had that huge radish on there. This one, you can't, it's not even popping out of the soil at all yet, so it needs a little bit more time, even though it had the same amount of leaves. Interesting. Okay, on to the next ones. We only have 2 left. Let's check in the soil. This one looks like it's a pretty good size, so we're going to harvest it. Oh, and it is. Oh, it almost looks like a little carrot. Beautiful. Okay, on to the next one. And look how much this one is popping out of the soil. Wow, so this one's definitely ready. Beautiful radish right there. Okay, that was a terrific little harvest. In total, let's see how many we got. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 radishes. So that'll be a good little snack for me. I'm the only one who really eats them in the house, so that's perfect for me. Okay, so further down from the radishes, right next to them, we have the collards, and look how good they are looking. Now, we did start these from seed, so that is a good amount of growth for the weather that we've been having. It has actually been cold here recently. We've had a few freezes, so, and these have all been enduring the frost. We haven't covered them, so they haven't grown like a ton, but they are doing good, and they have grown a good bit from when we first planted them as little tiny seedlings. And they are looking so good. And further down here is where I've actually, this is like a little, it almost looks like a little broccoli, but it's a little collard that's just a little behind the other ones. But further down, we've got the kale. It's coming in pretty thick. We didn't thin out the seedlings, we just planted them, and then we're going to come back and thin them out later. These are some of the ones that we still need to thin. Wow, look how beautiful and lush that is of those kale. But they're so densely planted together that I was having a little bit of trouble thinning them out, so I've got to come back to those. But down here, I actually did get these thinned. I left about 2 or 3 in these 2 right here. This one still needs to be thinned a little bit more. But the ones that I did thin, I didn't throw them out. I planted them in the row as well where it's empty. So we still have some space in this row. So that's why I planted the thinned out kale in there. And as I thin out these other ones, I'm going to keep what I thin and plant them as well to completely fill out this row. Here we are in our second row of our main garden area where we have spinach planted as well as some broccoli. And I think for the most part the broccoli in this row has been thinned and replanted, so we have almost a full row of broccoli and spinach. There's a little bit less spinach than broccoli, and look how big some of these have already gotten. And like I said before, these have not been covered. They've been enduring the frost that we've been having. So the size of these is actually really great for having endured a few nights of frost here in the past few weeks. And look at this spinach. Start it from seed. It's doing great. It's going to excuse me. It's going to grow and be beautiful and give us lots of fresh spinach all throughout the spring. So that is exciting. I'm so excited for how good these seedlings are looking. I can't wait to have such a great harvest in the springtime from all of these broccoli and spinach starts. Okay, so here on the side of the house, we have some cabbage growing, one there and one here. And then right next to it, we have got our Brussels sprouts, which I think this is about ready to be harvested, because look how good and big those Brussels sprouts look. And they go all the way down. They look so good. So I actually think I'm going to be harvesting this very soon. Even the ones up here at the top. They're a little bit smaller, but they still look like a good size to just, pop in your mouth and eat. So I'm planning to either saute them or roast them. And I think they're going to be so delicious. And right next to it, this is actually a volunteer collard. Look how beautiful that is. And lush. Look at how big those leaves are, as big as my hand. And no pest damage. It's looking so good. Alright, and then in this bed, we've still got these they're still itty bitty, these other volunteers. They've endured some pest damage, as you can see, but they're still coming along. And then in the corner, we have another Brussels sprout. Now this one did not do as good as the other one. The Brussels sprouts are a lot smaller, but there's still some on there, so I'm going to give this one some more time before I harvest it. Okay, so here in the side garden, we also have our peas still. And there's a few on there that are looking pretty good, but there's a few that have gotten frost damage. So we're letting those actually dry up and go to seed so that we can save the seeds. But we're going to be cutting these back here soon and starting new seeds for the spring. Let's check out the cabbage that's growing underneath the trellis. It is looking good. It's looking really good. It's actually looking better than some of the other cabbages. And then here on this trellis, we've actually pulled out these peas, and we're going to be starting, like I said, starting more for the spring. And this cabbage is looking pretty good. A little bit smaller. It's gotten some pest damage. So I actually need to come out here and treat it. But it's still looking pretty good. And in the bed right next to this one, we have collards. These are collards that I actually got from Starts at a plant sale. And look how good they're looking. We'll be able to harvest off of these soon. You can harvest now if you wanted to and have baby leaf collards. But I think I'm actually going to let these get a little bit bigger and get a little bit more mature before I start harvesting off of them. And right next to the collard, we have another cabbage. This one's a little bit smaller. As you can see, it's had pest damage as well. But it's still here, still looking good. Still going to hopefully get a cabbage head from it. Here's another collard. And another one here. And here is our big mama collard. We have had her for a few months now. She's doing really good. We've already harvested once. As I bend down here and show you, you can see the stalk where I've already harvested off of this one once. And look how big and lush it still is. It can be harvested again another time. Okay, so here's our mint. It is looking really good. You can tell that it has actually grown since the last time we looked at it. It's just filling out so good. And it's awesome because it was actually, I thought it was dying because it had so many dead branches around it when I first planted it in here. But I peeled back and broke off all the dead branches and popped in just a little small, it was probably about this big, a little small piece of this mint, and it has just grown and spread out all through here. And it's just so exciting. We can have fresh mint water, or we're probably going to harvest some of this soon and dry it for teas and medicinal purposes. So that's just great and wonderful that it has come in this great. So here in our rustic bed, our bok choy has actually gone to seed because during the frost we've had a few warm days, which is actually crazy. Our weather is totally erratic down here. We'll have freezing and frost for a few days, and then if there's no rain, it will warm up, and it made this bok choy go to seed. So right behind the bok choy, we've got a little baby broccoli growing right here. And then the rest of this is turnips. And these are turnips that I bought and saved the roots. And so these are actually kitchen scraps that I am regrowing to get more turnip greens to eat. And they are looking good. One more look at our radish harvest from today before we go, and I just wanted to say one more thing about the radishes. Not only can you eat this part, the bulb, you can also eat the greens. I love to cook mine with my collard greens and eat them that way. They are so delicious. Well, thanks for watching. Have a good day.